Huge
in
one.
Mos Pelgo.
Just like
please.
the Jeddah thing. Yeah.
Yes, even bigger. Even bigger. That thing is monumental.
It's a monument.
Can you actually fathom?
Incoming transmission from an unknown source. It seems to be urgent. Patching them through. They're calling themselves the HoloNet Marauders.
Jabba rule with fear. I intend to rule with respect. I was left on the sands of Tatooine.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the HoloNet Marauders podcast with my Bombad pals, Jamie and Matt. How are you guys doing? Bombad crime boss pals. That's what I'm calling you guys this week.
Crime lords. I want to be a crime
That's
lord.
the one.
Crime
lord.
lords? Okay.
Yeah, I'll be a Bombad crime lord.
You can be crime lord. Jamie's crime boss.
Okay.
And I don't know. But to all our listeners and our viewers, please subscribe and like this video. We love you all so much. And yeah, we're gonna talk about Book of Boba today. You guys ready?
Yeah,
it's coming up very quickly.
That first episode was great.
No.
We're posting these out of order.
Going into it. So this is our pre Book of Boba Fett. The episode comes out this week, and the series starts this week. So episode 1 comes out this week, but this is our before. So if you're worried about Book of Boba Fett spoilers, there aren't going to be any in this. We're gonna possibly toss around our own theories.
We guess everything right, and you believe us.
Yeah,
which could happen.
Then it's spoilers.
And if you're looking to go in fresh, I know there's people who don't want to look at trailers and stuff like that, then you won't want to listen to this episode because we're talking about the trailers and the teasers and all that.
Boba Fett's going to be in it? Sorry to ruin that for you.
Yeah.
Sorry to ruin that for you.
Is he going to read? Is it a book?
No, I don't think so. I actually don't.
I
don't think he's going to.
I think it's confirmed it's chapters again, though, which makes sense.
And I think I heard that it's going to start with like the next number, like after Mando's last chapter, which was what, 16? I forget.
Yes, 16, I think. Yeah, 8 and 8.
Yeah,
so like, Book of Boba Fett is going to start with like chapter like 17. Like it's going to like pick right up. So it's going to, which would be. I was thinking about this last night. That would be really cool if like all of the shows that have like this interconnected, like the Ahsoka show and Book of Boba Fett and Mando, they all just carry the chapters. Like they just keep going.
So what's the broader name of this story then?
The book. Just the book.
Yeah.
Just the book.
Sure. We'll call it the Book of the New Republic, except there's not that much in there. So.
No, that wouldn't make sense. But I was like, it would be cool if it was named after like one of the sacred Jedi texts, but none of these things have things to do with Jedi, so never mind.
Yeah, no. The Ramagon.
The Ramagon. That's the only one I can ever remember.
Yeah, same. No, there's the Chronicles of Bruce Boo, who is mentioned in the High Republic. Okay,
the Mando Chronicles.
We're getting off base.
Going way crazy.
The Mando Opus?
The Mando Opus.
The Mando Chronicles is what I said.
But I like Mando Opus.
Okay. Mando Opus is like something out there.
Sure.
There you go.
All right.
This is our Mando Opus.
The
here
Ballad
we go.
of Din.
The Ballad of Din, the Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka.
So we pretty much have one big juicy trailer, which came out a week
Dropped
before
right
Disney Plus Day. Fell on our laps.
Yep.
And then there's just been like 105 TV spots, it seems, since then, with new footage almost in each one, whether it was just one scene or two.
Yeah, or like lines. And interestingly enough, Robert Rodriguez has said at least one time, but it keeps getting reshared, that apparently this is only the first 15 minutes of that first episode because something happens halfway through the first episode that's just way too big to show in a trailer.
Which is insane. Like
what's that going to be?
Like, they've been so hush-hush about Book of Boba Fett. Imagine it being, like, the most hype show ever. That just goes absolutely crazy.
I feel like there is a lot of hype.
I
don't think it's the most hyped show ever, but I feel like there is a lot of hype out there because we haven't gotten new live-action stuff since
Mando. Since a year ago, like...
Mando Season 2.
Wasn't that a couple of days ago?
Since The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, yeah, Rise of... Yeah.
But, yeah, so the whole show...
No. You're crazy. Mando Season 2 is 2020.
It was a year ago.
2020? God, but I'm on like, what year is it? I have no idea. Like, it's some
question.
other. We're like about to jump into like that, like between like Christmas and New Year's like week, and so it's like what is that like that week in which you're like I don't know what plane of existence I'm on right now. So like,
honestly,
Anyway, so we haven't gotten any live action Star Wars stuff since The Mandalorian season 2.
But what has been, I think I know Matt's answer to this question, but what has been like something that sticks out to you, whether it was in the trailer or one of these little TV spots?
The Bomar monks.
Yep. I knew that's what Matt was going to say, probably.
I
mean, they do show it off the bat. You know,
they really
I think
did.
that was perfect because it declares the era right there. It's here we are.
It declares the era. I don't think people know like what that is at all.
I don't know if people are like, oh yeah, the Bomar monks. This must take place right after episode 6.
I'm pretty sure that was
Sort of.
number 1 on like Wikipedia, like immediately after the trailer dropped. It's like, what is this like spider thing with a brain in a jar? That the Bomar monk. That's
He's
what
great.
it is.
He's a monk. He's
Matt,
chilling.
explain the Bomar monks a little bit.
Okay, so
I know
the
you did it a few weeks back for us, but
The Bomar monks are an order of Force worshipping beings of various species. It's a religion. They posted up in Jabba's palace,
Maybe
I don't
there
know.
before.
I
weren't
think
they?
they were there before, yeah. And then they let Jabba kind of operate out of it. But the palace is like a temple to the Bomar monks, and their whole thing is that they grow closer to the Force by completely separating themselves from any and all outside stimulation, which means they remove their brains from their bodies and put them in a jar. And the jar, it's attached to spider legs and it's going around doing its own thing, but the brain is just... And they've achieved oneness with the Force by just completely removing any and all outside wants or attachments or anything.
it's one way to do it.
They take the Jedi attachment thing and they double it up. They triple it up.
That is one way to do it.
In Legends, Bib Fortuna became one of them. Forcefully, they forcefully removed his brain and put it in a little jar.
Well, guess what?
Maybe they could
He's
still
dead.
do that.
Yeah, he's
Well,
fat.
maybe if they cut it out quick. Oh, toss it in.
Quick!
He's just on the ground dead, and all these Bomar monks are just like, they're just like scuttling out from like all corners. Like it's like
Fennec and Boba are
like
just
the,
like watching, just like
like the
That's a horror
toys
movie.
from
Toy Story 1.
Story.
Yes.
Just going to like fix.
When I think of the Bomar monks, I do think of the baby head on the spider legs from Toy Story.
Yeah,
Honestly,
just like
yeah.
There you go. But I don't know. Do you think they'll play? Maybe it's silly, but do you think they'll play any sort of role in the show, or just kind of be background characters?
No.
Because
I
as
think
we
they'll
found
Just gonna
out,
be background.
as we found out in our Minecraft attempt to recreate Jabba's palace,
Oh yeah, our attempt.
most of Jabba's palace is like occupied by the Bomar
Like,
monks, and Jabba gets this little
95%.
basement.
Like
Yeah.
that entire cylindrical building, the giant central like palace. 95% of that is the Bomar monks like living quarters
crazy.
and like area like, and then you have to like walk through the door and like go down the stairs and like go into the basement, and that's where Jabba lives. It's like the craziest thing.
It is.
It's funny because like I feel like the Bomar monks are just gonna like be there and they'll be background and they'll maybe be like a couple lines saying, hey, this is what these guys are doing this and whatever. But like I'm pretty sure there is in one of the trailers, so if you're trying to avoid trailer chat, in one of the trailers I'm pretty sure like Fennec says something that's just like, yeah, Jabba like never left the palace like at all, rarely did, to like make the rounds. And
blame
I
him.
could see why, because he has to go up like a million stairs and
a lot of
then,
work.
Slugs
it's a
don't
lot
do
of
well
work.
with stairs.
That's a lot of work for someone like Jabba, okay? You think he works at all? No.
Who built the throne? I was thinking about this the other day, and you just look at the promo picture of the
yeah.
throne that that Boba's sitting on with Fennec. Like, where'd
Oh,
that
yeah,
thing
the,
come
the
from?
actual seat? I don't know.
It's so cool looking.
I mean, I
and
guess-
Jabba
Bib?
didn't have it.
Did
so,
Bib make it?
Yeah, I guess Bib
Maybe.
had it made.
Because
He was
after
like, I'm not gonna lie on this giant slab full of
He's
pillows.
fancy.
I'm gonna need a chair here.
Because I mean, yeah, I think this is always so funny. Like, it's not something I would like have like thought about. Be like, oh, what happens to Jabba's palace immediately after Jabba dies? And so like that's probably an answer we're gonna get like immediately of who muscles their way in. Like, how did Bib Fortuna like survive after all the explosions outside the Sarlacc and whatnot, and Boba getting out of the Sarlacc?
Was
Was
Bib
he
on
even
the
in the
skiff?
sail barge?
Bib?
I don't know. I was gonna ask you, Matt.
Yeah,
I don't
he's-
think he was. He
No,
was?
he's
He
there.
stayed back.
I'm pretty sure he's there. He gets like
He
knocked
was in
out or
cahoots.
something really
it was
quickly.
planned.
Jeez, how the
Is
hell
is,
did he get
is
out of there?
Salacious B gonna be in it?
God, I hope.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I hope my boy didn't blow up like everybody else.
There'll be some sort of Kowakian monkey lizard there.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
should. I mean, they're
They're all over Mando. So yeah,
They've had them in Mandalorian so far
already
as
made the
well, with like
puppets.
the roasting of them, and they're just
Yeah.
like crying to each other. And when we go to Galaxy's
Iconic.
Edge, JJ, we need to get one of those. I
The
know
blue
it's
one?
expensive, but we need to get a Kowakian monkey lizard. I need one. I also need the porg with the teeth, even though you find that one a little funny. But
The poor
two
with the
animals.
teeth?
Yeah, it's like a puppet, and it has
right,
like really
yeah.
sharp teeth.
Jamie, you brought up, I think it was you just now, that
Yeah.
how does Boba get out of the Sarlacc?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was one of the things I had recently in a blog post. Like, it seems pretty evident we're going to see that in some sort of flashback. And it's funny that everyone thinks that that shot of the Tusken Raiders coming over the horizon is that, because there's Tusken Raiders are all over Tatooine, so that could be any time. But I like the theory, and I kind of subscribe to it. He probably was saved by them in some sort of way. And, you know, he has the gaffy stick in Mando Season 2.
Yeah.
And I think he definitely got that from the Tusken Raiders, obviously. That's one of their weapons.
Yeah, you find him in the middle of the desert, you know, when Mando or when Din is driving away with his armor, he's just kind of like chilling, like out in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
being like, hey, you know, this is my armor. Gotta go
But
after it.
yeah, I think something of note as well is we got to go back to season 1. He saves Fennec.
Oh, yeah, that's
And
true.
what the heck was he
Right.
doing? Like what?
Why was he
What
sitting
the
around,
heck was
like-
he doing? Just like sitting around. Why didn't he like try to like go after Cobb in that moment as well? Because
And
it
what-
was on Tatooine.
Exactly. What
Where-
has he been doing? Like,
We
What
have
has
to,
he
we have to
been
find out.
doing?
We saw in one of the TV spots, they like show up to like find the Slave One. And the Slave One is at
Yeah.
Jabba's palace, or seemingly at Jabba's palace, because Star Wars fans, they took the Jabba's palace map build from Battlefront 2, and they like they found the room where the Slave One is being held, and it's like built in the Battlefront 2 map, which is supposedly, you know, canon.
that's in the Battlefront 2 map. And if you go play the game, you could find the Slave One.
No, you can find the room where the Slave One is in.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
But that's how they kind of determined that the Slave One was at Jabba's palace, because they were like, oh, this room from the map in Jabba's palace in Battlefront 2 looks the same, the exact same as the room where the Slave One is being held in that TV spot.
Well, it
So
makes
in that
sense.
shot in the trailer, that's them finding it? Or is that him parking it there again? Because it looks all beat up.
Maybe. It does look beat up,
So-
and I think that's probably like where he parked it when he showed up to the party.
This isn't where I parked
that-
my car.
This is
Return of
just
the
one
Jedi
big
was-
dude. Where's my car? That's all that this is actually gonna like be.
Dude,
Yeah,
where's my
he was
ship?
looking for the Slave One the whole time. He couldn't find it. And then now he finds it. Now he has to go get his armor. But yeah, I just want to mention before we get off the topic of like how he escaped the Sarlacc, which we kind of
Oh, we're off the topic, but go for it.
I want to go back. In the Aftermath trilogy, I forget which one. It could be the first one. They specifically talk about how the Jawas found the armor scattered in the remains of the Sarlacc, because when the sail barge blew up, it crashed and cut open the Sarlacc's stomach, and that's how and I'm assuming
find that so
they're going
funny.
to carry that.
It makes
carry that
sense,
over.
but so the barge just happened to go down the Sarlacc and just bloop,
Yep.
right through its
The
gut.
pieces probably did like a little bit, and like it like I don't know, it got hurt.
Yeah.
You know how
And
we like
that's
jokingly
how he
said
got
that
out.
like the Sarlacc was gonna burp, and like that was so like Boba was gonna survive just
I mean,
one
I'd
big
still-
burp.
I still want that to be like the first shot of Book of Boba Fett. It's just
That
the
happens
in
Sarlacc
some
burping,
Lego
and it
short
just,
that
like
we found.
goes flying out.
It's a Lego lore Santeca. He's like, ah.
So the biggest question I have after Mando season 2 is what we kind of just brought up. Why doesn't Boba care that Cobb has his armor? He Cobb has the armor. He brings it up later. He doesn't
He
do
know
anything about it.
Maybe because like he knows that Cobb isn't trying to like do anything like bad.
Maybe
So he has no beef
feels
with him.
disgraced.
Yeah.
And he doesn't
Yeah,
think he's
actually.
earned the armor. But now that it's in like the hands of a Mandalorian, he's like, oh, he'll
That
understand.
makes more sense.
Do you
Yeah.
think he was on his
or-
way to get the armor back? He's like, I'm gonna go beat up Cobb Vanth with this
I
gaffy
think
stick.
that. Yeah.
I think the
with-
first
Woo!
like 6 episodes of Book of Boba Fett are him just like going to get his armor. Then he shows up and Din's just like, and now and then the last episode is
There
him
it goes.
like, oh, great.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that that's like a good theory. If he was just, I think that maybe he was just like staking out like where the armor was, and maybe he felt like he didn't deserve it for whatever reason, and he knew that like Cobb Vanth wasn't doing anything like weird. He literally is like the marshal of a town, so he's like, you know what, this guy is okay. I'll bide my time, and when the moment's right, I'll go and get it. And so when he sees Mandalorian leaving with it, he's just like, oh, wait. Oh no, this isn't
wait.
gonna work. And
You're
he's like,
giving,
all
you're
right.
giving away the armor? Oh,
He's like,
well, then
I
want
gotta go like check this one out.
I didn't know it was for sale.
All
Oh,
Boba
not
had
even-
to do was go kill a crate dragon with Cobb Vanth, and he could have got the armor back.
Easy peasy.
True.
Eat this
Uh,
kick.
What if we get
Without
like a
his
shot of
armor.
like they're like working on killing the crate dragon, and it's just like Boba and Fennec just like watching this from like another
Just
cliff,
like
just like
on the top
Holy
of like a
crap.
cliff, just like
they're
this
just
is
like
bull crap.
Oh man, and that's how much of this show do you think will be like flashbacks, and how much will be present day? I'll call it.
That's a
I
good
don't
question.
think it'll be that much. I think that it'll be mostly within the present day timeline. I feel like in this first episode, we'll get the most of our like flashbacks of like how did we get to this moment. So like how did he survive the Sarlacc? What role did like the Tuskens play in that? Like is he like a savior to them, or were they just like, all right, we saved you. You just want to like hang out with us, and then
Drink our weird fruit things.
yeah,
Yeah.
The fruit that's like the black smoke.
Our smelly fruit pies or whatever.
Ugh.
Yum.
I love Cobb Vanth's face like when they're drinking.
Oh yeah,
Um,
You
for
gotta
you.
drink it. You gotta.
and
you
he's
have
just
to,
like,
it's gross. There's a
it's very
passage-
Indiana Jones esque of when
Yeah.
they have the food
Yeah,
in
when,
is it
when
India.
he shows up, in
these
Temple
people
of
are
Doom,
starving.
and they're eating it, and he's like,
I'm not
"These
eating
people are
that."
starving. They just gave us like a little bit of food.
Very similar.
You
to
can't
that.
insult
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
like that." And it's the same kind of thing because it's like there's like no water out here. They're giving you water. Drink it.
Yeah. I think that
I-
we'll definitely see. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I absolutely love how they show the Tatooine culture, the Tusken Raider culture in Mando. We get to see more of what they do behind the scenes. They're not just savages and all that. And I hope we see more of that in Book of Boba. And I think we will because it takes place
Yeah.
on Tatooine. There's gonna be plenty of Tusken Raiders.
I was just
around.
gonna like say that as well. Like I love
They're
how
everywhere.
they've built up the essential the lore for the Tusken Raiders and like actually like what the Sand People and what their like day to day is. And I feel like we will be getting a little bit more of that as well, like in Book of Boba Fett, because Boba definitely is in some sort of weird alliance with them. Maybe
Yeah.
he's gonna like enlist the Sand People to help fight whatever syndicates they have to fight towards like the end of like the show
God.
or whoever whatever shows up. It'll be like Tuskens versus like this like slew of bounty hunters.
Which
What
which
a
brings
disaster!
us. Go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say this reminds me, the trivia thing we did. Chad brought up the Red Key Raiders as one of the answers to the questions to one of the trivia questions, and the Red Key Raiders are this criminal syndicate, this new up and coming criminal syndicate that moves into Tatooine after Jabba's death. It's again, this is from the Aftermath trilogy, and we kind of learn about what they're doing. They show up as like a legitimate business, like a legitimate mining company, and they like start enlisting like people from different towns, and they bring them in, and of course it turns out they're actually a criminal operation. They're called the Red Key Raiders, and there's like this whole big thing. One of their leaders is killed by Cobb Vanth when he teams up with the Tusken Raiders.
Is this the same group that like tries to take over Mos Pelgo? Because I think
We
that
can
Cobb just refers to
assume.
them as just
Yeah,
it's not mining guild, but he says something about like
I think it was
mining.
mining guilds.
Yeah,
Miner-
it says
yeah,
mining guild,
some
and,
sort of
and
miners.
they were miners in Aftermath. Like, well, their front was mining.
Okay. They could very easily just slip in and
Yeah,
say
'cause they
these are the
never
Red
say
Key
that-
Raiders.
They never
do
say
you
the name.
think-
So I would love to see the Red Key Raiders show up in Book of Boba Fett, considering they're
Hmm.
probably one of the largest criminal underworld players on
Do you
Tatooine
think-
at this point in time.
They could be the
Okay.
people with the shield in the trailers. The shields.
Maybe.
They
Yeah.
are wearing red.
They are.
That would be awesome. Please give me the Red Key Raiders.
Yeah, I like
I
it.
really hope the Red Key Raiders show up now.
Because
Okay.
my
Prediction
next
one,
question
Red
was
Key Raiders.
Yeah,
Yep.
let's do it. I want it. My next question was Fennec mentions that there's going to be a war. There's a war coming, and Boba says we'll be ready. And I was going to say, who do we think they're going to war with? Could be multiple factions or something like that. But the Red Key Raiders kind of hits the nail on the head there.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. If
Either
if
that
they
or
did
the
that.
Ithorian that is just in the throne. That's just like,
Yep.
Yeah, there's so many.
He could be part of the Red Key Raiders. He could be the
True.
leader
Could
of
be.
the
Yeah.
Red Key Raiders. Because we have those like Niktos, right? Or are they Klatooinians? No. Well,
think
Klatooinians
they're
and
Niktos.
Niktos.
Yeah.
it's a mix. There's also I think I feel like Trandoshans as well. So
Yeah,
At
like
the-
sitting around that table. I
the
could
dinner
see
table.
those as the Red Key Raiders too. I don't know. I'm now I'm
I love
ascribing
that-
everything to the Red Key Raiders. What have I done? I need
That's
to
what you
chill.
do.
I need to temper.
I love how. But I keep saying I want to say Jabba. When Boba sets up the dinner table on top of the Rancor pit, I love that. I don't know if you noticed that in the trailer.
It is?
Yeah,
I didn't notice it was in the room.
It's in front of the throne.
That's
and
so funny.
I swore I saw a Goal in the corner, the worm with the tongue. But I'm probably wrong. But what a funny place to set up a dinner table.
Okay.
And Goal's just like in the corner, like licking a plate in the corner, just like.
Yeah, you gotta feed him.
Goal in Book of Boba Fett.
Do you think they cleaned the
2.
Rancor up? They definitely did. It hasn't been rotting down there for 5 years, because that'd be a terrible place to set up like a dinner table right over a rotting corpse,
a rotting
giant
Rancor
rotting
corpse.
corpse.
Yeah, I mean, like I would say it's been cleared out of there
thing
because like the Rancor Keeper like doesn't go on the skiff with everybody. He's like mourning his baby there, so like he definitely like dealt with it
And they
in some
buried
way,
him in
shape,
the
or
sand
form.
in like the backyard or something.
And then he moved to Mos Pelgo.
Yes, he did, to raise a Hutling that they found.
There might be a lot more aftermath payoffs in this show than I'm thinking of.
I
Now that I'm
mean,
thinking of it.
There already are so many in these shows. These shows. Mandalorian is the only show that's done so far. But
that's another thing.
There's already been a lot of
Yeah.
like aftermath payoffs in Mando. Not just like the big ones like Cobb Vanth, but like even the small ones.
Yeah.
What
Sorry,
were you gonna say,
I was
AJ?
pointing to Cobb Vanth because like
yeah.
I was trying to figure out what to put in
Oh.
my backdrop, and I was
I
like,
didn't
oh,
notice that.
let me just put like the entire
we
like Cobb Vanth
blind?
cosplay just like
okay.
back
I wasn't sure if you guys got like a cutout of him and he was missing his head or something. I was
No.
like, Cobb Vanth's
No,
looking
no.
a little
No,
headless there.
it's
Boba
a
took care of
costume,
him.
so it's the entire thing. It's much farther away than I thought it was, so I'm like
looks
trying to
great.
reach it.
That's great,
But
yeah.
it's almost all finished. Our friend Jack, who's on the show all the time, is working on making the armor bit to it, which is gonna be really cool.
Very soon.
It's
I
almost
have the
done.
helmet below me.
Not the one he will be. Well, yes, the one he will be using, but
Yeah.
we'll update that as the time comes. Anyway, I wanted to show off just a costume, and I don't have anything else that's related to
It's funny that
Mandalorians or Boba Fett. So I was like, Cobb Vanth, there he is.
recently I've just been thinking about Cobb Vanth appearing in this show, and he very well might not. He
Yeah.
very well might not.
I would
but
say don't expect it. But
he's in his backyard, and there's
I know,
weird
I
stuff
know.
there that isn't resolved. So.
He's in his backyard. There's
He
a lot of
is.
weird stuff in that backyard.
Do we
true.
think, speaking of Boba's dinner table, do we think it works out and he kind of creates a piece? Probably not, because we're
Yeah.
getting a TV show about it, and that
no,
would
I
be
think
boring.
I think he has everybody show up. He has like a little like conference. Everybody agrees to the terms, and there's
Including
peace on
Gold.
Tatooine, including
Yeah,
Gold,
of
who
course.
actually turns out
Mhm.
to be a criminal underlord. Underlord.
Hey, maybe he
Underlord.
is.
The
Underworld
Underlord.
Underlord. I am beneath you, but nothing is beneath me.
As
I think
cool-
Cole says
Be
that
under my-
when people show up.
I love that.
As
But
cool
literally
as Boba
everything is-
is, as cool and intimidating as Boba is, he was just a bounty hunter before this. He's not cut out to be a crime boss
Just
yet.
a
crime
bounty
lord.
hunter.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Just a simple
He was
man.
the best bounty hunter in the galaxy.
I know,
That's
but he's
the whole
not.
point.
He's a rookie when it comes to being a crime lord. So he's gonna get
will
pantsed.
It will be interesting.
Maybe.
He's gonna get robed first of all because
He's gonna
gonna
get pantsed by Goal.
He's losing that. He
No.
lost the robe, so like he's gonna get robed.
He's gonna get robed.
Sorry.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was a recent little thing of Boba and Fennec, and it was awesome, walking across like a marketplace. And I loved the ambiance of it, and it was very Mos Eisley or wherever it was. And they're talking about, that's the line where he says, Jabba ruled with fear, I intend to rule with respect. And Fennec's like, all right, but, fear can work. So it seems like there's a bit of a disagreement there among them.
And
I'm interested
Fennec
to
and
see, like-
Boba break up, and she forms her own criminal syndicate, and he forms his.
No,
And there's a
I'd be
war.
heartbroken.
Nah.
I love them
I don't
as
think
a
that's
team.
gonna happen.
No, I don't think that's gonna happen either.
No.
I love seeing them as like everyone's like, oh yeah, best friend duo, and I'm just like, yes, I just love
Yeah,
seeing the two of them together.
they're great.
Even though it is like a weird like life debt thing, but it's like not. So I don't know. I'm
Life-
interested to
life
see
debts
like
are
how
cool.
that like develops.
Life debts are
cool.
okay.
Yeah.
Life debts are rad. I mean, Jar Jar was along for the ride because of a life debt. Chewbacca was on. I mean,
Yeah,
eventually the
Zalbar.
life debt leads to a friendship.
because you're
But-
just stuck with this person. AJ, what was that?
My chair.
Okay.
So we've talked about the trailer and the teasers. Are there any either bold or non-bold predictions you guys have?
Prince Xizor is going to be in the show.
I love it.
No, I'm kidding. I don't think he's going to be in the show. I look back. Was it the?
You want it though.
I do. I would love that. I look back at the. What was it? Was it Shadows of the Empire?
Bum, bum, bum.
The
Yes.
discussion we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, the
I wasn't
discussion
part
where
of
we did-
it.
Where
but-
I was like, oh yeah, I think Prince Xizor is going to appear in Book of Boba Fett. And I look back at that now and I'm like, you fool.
Hey, it
I
might
don't
be
think
might be a grand slam by you. Who knows?
I would
I think there's
kill
potential
that.
for it though, because they name dropped him in Crimson Reign, which
They did,
takes
Yeah.
which
place
is
in
nuts.
between Empire and Return of the Jedi, and so we don't know how much is gonna. We don't know what's. We
Could
don't know.
we see Kira? Could we see Prince Xizor? Probably
God,
not,
if-
but
yeah.
we can hope.
Yeah.
I think there's more of a chance of seeing Kira than Prince Xizor, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know who we
'cause-
could see? Black Chrysanthemum.
Oh.
Hey. We're going into predictions, not leaks. We don't want to talk about the leaks here.
Right,
but
right.
But there is a confirmed leak that Black
Yeah.
Chrysanthemum is going to be in Book of
By
Boba
these really
Fett.
cool guys. I
I
forget
heard
their
it from
names.
some really cool guys and gals who were talking about Black Chrysanthemum being in Book of Boba Fett, and I think
Yeah.
they're pretty reliable too. So I'm going full in on that. I think my prediction is Black Chrysanthemum is going to be in the show. Actually, that's a good prediction.
I like it.
All right. Write that one down.
Yep, from a reliable source.
Write that down. Write that down.
Write that down. Write that down.
bunch of reliable leakers.
It was us.
It was us. I mean,
Yeah,
okay.
like last year.
when we thought it was Mando season 3. We didn't even know the show.
Nobody knew.
Because regular Mandalorian was happening at that
Yeah.
point in time, and then just
No,
yeah.
no, you can't blame us.
But are there any real predictions?
real predictions.
Like,
Predictions. Okay, hang on. What was it? Oh, hot take. That's not a hot take. Din Djarin is going to be in the entire show.
The entire
show.
I don't think he's going to
Yeah.
be the entire
there's
show. I
7
think he's gonna
episodes.
make an
He appears
appearance.
in 4.
What else is he doing right now?
Crying.
Training to be
he has-
Mandalore.
No. This is his
Crying.
training to be the Mandalore, okay?
Shaving.
Because he doesn't.
Yep. Shaving with the dark saber.
He doesn't have any idea. He doesn't know what he wants to do because like he's not gonna have Grogu, and so like that was his one goal, and now he doesn't have a goal right now, and he doesn't like.
Goal?
You know who
Maybe-
does have a goal?
Maybe he'll be friends with Goal,
Boba Fett.
but Boba does, and
Yeah.
so like
Does
I
someone
think
say
he's gonna
Goal?
help it.
He's got a
Plus,
goal
there's a
living in
lot
his
of like.
palace.
There's like a lot of like obvious like he's been edited out or someone's been edited out of like moments of like pictures they've like released so far. So
Yeah, we
I
saw
think that
that.
Din's gonna be in almost all of the show.
We saw that shot of the lizard getting punched. And yeah, I think that's Din Djarin. They cut him
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. At the Statue of Liberty.
He punches
Yeah.
the lizard at the Statue of Liberty. I think that's
At the Statue of Vanth.
yeah. I wish. Give us a statue of Van.
One
big
day.
one. Big one
Huge
in
one.
Mos Pelgo.
Just like
please.
the Jeddah thing. Yeah.
Yes, even bigger. Even
yeah.
bigger. That thing is monumental. Can you
It's a
can
monument.
you actually fathom how big that statue of that Jedi on Jeddah is? I mean, that is huge.
Very
Humongous.
big.
It's the size of a mountain. Can you imagine seeing that thing standing?
I mean, it was probably like carved out of the mountain, so like something like Mount
Yeah,
Rushmore,
probably
like
but
Mount
not with like
Rushmore,
the
yeah.
politics to it. So
Or
Or
like
like
the
the
Colossus
temple
of
on
Rhodes.
Elfrona. Yeah,
Yeah.
Colossus Rhodes.
oh, El Ferona.
Cool view.
We're way off topic now.
Elfrona.
But
Okay.
anyways,
We're
Really
on
back. We were
Elfrona.
talking. We
We
were
were
talking
talking
predictions,
Jeddah.
right? So they're gonna go to El Ferona, right?
No.
Predictions.
I think the
AJ,
whole
go.
show takes place on Tatooine. It's not really a bold prediction, but
I
I
think
don't know.
maybe
Where
they
else
might
would they
like.
go?
I don't
Yeah.
know where else, but maybe they would leave for like
I
something
think we're gonna see
quickly.
Nar Shaddaa.
A meeting on Nar Shaddaa. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think they're gonna do or Ord Mantell.
Ooh,
They could do Ord Mantell. That's pretty easy. That's
they're
just another
going to
marketplace.
Sid's.
Oh man.
Guys, what if they go to Sid's?
And Rhea Perlman had to do motion capture.
no.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
Slow down, guys. Slow down.
I know this one's been tossed around, but people have wanted to see. I call these like fan predictions, where people are just like, "I want to see this Omega." Would
Yes.
Omega appear?
Omega, yeah.
Omega.
So I was just gonna like
I
bring
don't
that up
think so.
next. I would love for that to happen. So like the reason why, I mean, like we just got her this year, obviously, and we know her beginning, but we don't know the end of her story, and we know that she ages normally, so she would definitely like be an adult at this point in time.
Yeah.
And we know that she knows of Boba at this point in time in her story. We don't know if like the Batch ends up meeting up with Boba or if Omega ends up meeting up with him at any point in time. I feel like it's a really good possibility that somehow she would come up, at
Yep.
least in name. I would love for her to actually like be in person.
And she
And
shows
by
up.
God, if we see her in the show, I'm dropping everything, and that's what I'm going to cosplay next.
And it's
There you go.
and it's Tem in a blonde wig.
no, no.
Hey, Hey.
Good lord. I still would, but no.
I think it would be very I don't think it'll happen if I had to choose, but I think it would be very Star Wars to show the beginning.
Yeah.
And then sort of much later on, and then fill in the middle.
I guess that's kind of what they did with Kira.
Yeah.
The beginning of her journey in Crimson Dawn versus like we're now jumping to like the end, or like
it'd be pretty nuts to do it in the
plan.
same year though. We get Omega over the spring and summer.
I mean, like previously for Boba, like we got his end, and then we got like his beginning ish, and now we're getting beyond his end.
Yeah.
Yeah, more plugins.
So like,
yeah.
I think that it would be very on brand, like if they did like fit, like not say anything about the in between, just like jump to be like, all right, this is where they are now. Like they definitely could, because you always go back and fill in those gaps.
Definitely. Matt, let's hear a juicy prediction from you, like one you firmly believe in.
One I firmly believe in. That's the problem here that I was telling you before we started this. My brain is fried on Book of Boba Fett. I have like no predictions.
It's tough.
I
don't know what's gonna
expect
happen
to see just like a good underworld romp, like just Boba and
an old romp in
Fennec
the underworld,
going crazy, traveling around talking to crime lords, and then getting into various skirmishes and whatnot. Like I know that they keep hyping up these like big, like what's the word? Status quo changes, because they keep hyping that this show like is big in terms of like lore.
Yeah.
But I just can't picture what it's going to be. Though I'll make a juicy prediction right now that I don't think is going to come true, but I'll say it anyway. Knights of Ren are going to be in the show.
Ooh.
That is a very juicy prediction, and I
it's
wish
my
I came up
prediction.
with it myself.
I don't really. Obviously, they appear in Crimson Reign.
Rain.
For people that
And
haven't read
there's
the
a few
end
that
of
are
it.
different than what
Yeah.
we see in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
You got Mini-Me there. He's nice.
That would be such a great connection to the sequels too.
That would
And
be. I'd lose my mind.
They're characters that people really enjoy, and they're mysterious, and we want to see more of. That would
People
be
want
very
to see more of them, and they fit the setting.
Underworld. Yep.
It's
criminal
gonna
underworld.
be so okay. Revising that, so AJ, they aren't just going to be on Tatooine the entire time. They're going to. Boba's gonna end up showing up on Oseraton to get the Knights of Ren prison transport shuttle that they use as their ship.
The Night Buzzard.
The Night Buzzard.
This is the Book of Boba Fett is actually Boba helping out the Knights of Ren to get the
It's
Night
actually
Buzzard.
it's a Knights of Ren
Excuse me.
origin story
That's what it really is.
hidden in a Boba Fett show.
It's one chapter of the Book of Boba Fett.
All of our predictions are such pipe dreams. I'm
They
scared.
dude.
Okay, wait.
I'm struggling to like come up with like realistic, like tempered
think
predictions
a
because I just
realistic
don't know where
one-
the show's gonna go.
A realistic one would be Cad Bane, whether in a flashback or,
Yeah,
as I call, present day. We know him and Boba have a beef, and
I really wish we could see that battle. I know it's like in the finished or the unfinished like Clone Wars episodes that they have like floating around there, but I really
And-
wish they'd adapted that episode in Clone Wars season 7.
Fennec. I agree. Fennec has now kicked his butt too. In
Right.
Bad Batch.
Yeah.
So
now
there's
he's got like
double
a big beef. He's
Double
got
Double the beef. Double of the realest beef.
Double
wow.
that
Double
beef.
beef Bane. He's
Double
coming in.
beef Bane.
He's coming in, dude.
I think that's realistic. That's not too much
could-
of a pipe dream.
I guess I could see like a grizzled old Cad Bane with a big metal
He's
plate
already
on his
pretty
head.
grizzled.
And he just fits
Yeah,
this.
now he's even
he
more
fits this.
grizzled.
What do we call it? The Mando Opus. He fits
Yeah,
it.
the Mando
it's very
Opus.
Western feeling.
It
and-
is. It is
Cad
very-
Bane
He's
is
the
the
most
epitome
Western.
of like the man with no name like trope with like Clint
Yeah.
Eastwood and
Yeah.
whatnot, and so like or the character not trope, excuse me. He is like the
Well,
epitome
it is a
of
trope.
that.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because
the
of
man
it at
of
this
no
point.
name with no name is like a pretty standard trope. Like,
Yeah.
just like
The man with no bane.
a
Anyway.
man of little words, chews on a toothpick, leans against every single door frame he
Yeah.
finds.
Big
Wears
hat.
a poncho, big hat. Little
That is
lady.
a cowboy.
Talks people like that. Yeah, but like there's a
Um,
certain type of cowboy.
Yeah, and the way that Mando season 2, especially, it was very, very Western, and I feel like the vibe is gonna keep up with Book of Boba Fett, and I'm really
For sure.
excited for that. I think
We're gonna
that
get like the Godfather mixed with like a Western.
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Good, the
just
bad, the
like-
ugly, and the Godfather combined.
Woo!
Oh man, oh,
You guys
boy.
better brush up on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that a prediction that isn't really like that bold of a prediction, but would be like really cool to see is some sort of reunion of like the lineup of bounty hunters. So like
Yes.
Boba, Zuckuss,
That would be really
Forlom,
cool.
Bosk,
IG-88.
IG, and
They already-
Dengar is the last one. Yeah.
Well,
Somehow.
How far along is Dengar?
I don't know.
Well,
Hrothgar
I
dying.
think that somehow.
I don't think he's
I think that'd be
quite
cool
made
to
that
see.
transition yet.
I think it'd
But
be cool
he's
to
getting
see
there.
that revisited somehow.
I think
And
that would be
a
cool.
nice
War of the
little-
Bounty Hunters
Yeah, exactly.
was because that would be a good tie into War of the Bounty Hunters. The last time they saw Boba, he kicked all their asses
Yeah.
individually, but he just decimated them, just
Hey.
marching through each of them.
Maybe the war is the fact that news gets out that Boba took back Jabba's palace, and all these other bounty hunters are just like, oh shit. And they're like,
Yeah.
I have to go back and kill Boba Fett. Like,
Maybe.
I don't know.
I wouldn't want to do that if I were them.
So going
no,
I'd want to make friends with
it's
them.
gonna be Boba Fett home alone in Jabba's palace.
okay, so I sound like a broken record here, but going back to the Aftermath trilogy,
No,
we
go for
know that Dengar is in the process of like creating the Bounty Hunters Guild right after Return of the Jedi, and he's like going around like recruiting people and like trying to like form, because he's trying to form like this like legitimate organization for bounty hunters because he doesn't feel like they can do it alone. And he I forget if Mercurial Swift dies or not, but there's a great bounty hunter in the Aftermath trilogy named Mercurial Swift, and he's like, I don't really know how to describe him. He's like this young cocky like kid who hires a bunch of like the old bounty hunters. He hires Enbo. Do you remember Enbo?
Oh,
Really?
of course I remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a
Embo
fun, just like
shows
show
up
up.
and actually helps one of the main characters in the final book, which is really cool. Which is a really cool callback.
that'd
So
be
I'd
really
love
cool to see Embo.
Is Embo still alive? We don't know what happens to him ultimately.
Yeah.
Or...
Well, according to Aftermath, he is.
He's
Yeah.
still alive by the time of Aftermath, and this only takes place about 5 years after.
right.
I,
So I'd love to see that.
that'd be really cool.
I'd love to see Black Chrysanthemum show up. That would be cool.
Yes.
Sorry to the bounty
So-
hunters.
Yeah.
So-
Will this be another? I don't want to call it character of the week show, but do we think it'll be another character of the week show?
You know, everybody that has such a negative connotation to it, but I'm sorry. I'm
I know
a sucker
it's fun.
for those character of the week shows. I would be really happy if it was.
If it
Me
too.
works, I think it could
I think
definitely work.
People can call me crazy all they want, but
It
I
absolutely
would
worked
not
with
mind.
season 2 of Mando. No one, I don't think very many people complain about that.
No, I
they
don't
sort of
think
did
so.
it with Bad Batch a little. So
A
yeah,
little, but
a little
yeah.
here and there.
Yeah.
Cad Bane and a couple other people. But yeah, I think it would work. It's kind of the formula right now. I don't want to say. But...
You can do that with the show. Like say if that was like they tried to do that in one of the movies, the person would be in like less than a minute, less than a minute, and then they're gone. And it's just like, okay, well at least like with like a TV episode, we get this person for like 20 minutes.
They did it in a recent Marvel movie that was a big hit at the box
Yeah.
office, and it worked.
Yeah, like that. Yes, they did.
Yes.
We won't dive into that, but I see all the comparisons of if Marvel could do it, so could Star Wars in like a different way, and it's like
Yeah.
Star
they know
Wars
where to
could
draw the
do it-
line. Yeah, and it can be done though.
Star Wars could do it in such a cool way too. I mean, really, I don't want to get into the differences.
Yeah, let's
between
not
Star Wars
cross.
and Marvel
Let's
and all
not
that
cross the
jazz.
streams here that much.
Don't
'cause
cross
that's,
the
that's gonna
streams.
be a lot.
Star Wars, the way they have their canon set up and everything is so interconnected. Star Wars became so popular because it was so interconnected. That's why I short circuit when people are like, Mando was great until everybody started showing up. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't want this story that's just completely separate from everything else in the galaxy. I want everything
Yeah.
to feel connected. I know that makes the galaxy feel small, but I don't care.
At least for right now. I love all the interconnectivity.
Interconnectivity is what brings people to the table. You know,
Yeah.
Marvel,
Literally.
the MCU did
Boba's
it.
bringing people to the table.
Yeah.
He's
MCU
serving
did it.
dinner.
Star Wars can follow that model because Star Wars established that model. Well,
Yeah.
to a certain extent.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say, are there any more characters that we think would show up? We've already listed about
I was about to say,
50.
Who else are we talking about here?
I don't know.
Palpatine's
Couple
going to
of
show
bounty
up.
hunters.
a couple Banthas,
couple,
Palpatine,
yeah, Banthas.
Palpatine in a Bantha's body.
Watto. Give me Watto. Can we get some pod racing? Like,
Whoa!
Ooh,
Oh no!
oh, that'd be really fun.
Watto may or may not be alive. There's
Eh,
a
he
Legends
wasn't looking
comic that everybody that like canon has kind of hinted at that has like Darth Vader return to Tatooine and like kill Watto, but
As he should.
as he should. But
If he was
I
gonna
don't think
kill
that's-
anyone, he should kill his former,
it should be
slave
it
master.
should be his slave master. Yeah, his former slave master for sure.
my final little like prediction I wanted to make was, we already mentioned Din Djarin appearing, but if it's a scene where Boba is all pinned down and getting beat up, and all of a sudden we hear the Darksaber ignite and it pans
Ooh.
up to Din or something, oof.
That'd be a good intro.
Oh yeah.
It'd be great.
So, like, he's just like shows
Just
up.
hearing the noise. The Darksaber has that specific ignition. Just hearing that would be perfect.
Yeah,
We'll
that'd
see.
be really, really fun to see.
Of all the characters we've mentioned, Grogu and Luke.
I don't think that they'll show up.
I don't think they'll appear. I don't know.
So like it goes back to like I love when things are interconnected, but however, I don't think every single story needs to be touched upon within this. And so like
Not yet.
I don't think for this situation, since it is like Boba's story, it'll like go there. Maybe towards the end of the season, it'll just be like, oh, you know, I need to like check up on this one thing, or like I don't know, like Dr. Pershing will like re-show up in whatever the
man.
heck he's doing,
Wait a
and he's
minute.
gonna be like,
That
we have
Luke
to
was a
stop
clone.
this, and yeah, we're gonna get like Luke now, and it's gonna be like,
Holy
oh
crap.
shoot,
That would
Like,
be. Oh
so, like,
my
maybe
God, that
towards
would
the
rock
end-
the foundation of the fandom to the
Yeah.
core.
yeah, like maybe towards the end something will happen, but I think that for the majority of the season, it's just gonna be Boba's tale. Din's gonna be like with him and Fennec because like he doesn't have anything else to do, and he's lost, and he lost his son. He gave away his son, and he
So what
has
do
the
you think-
Darksaber. But I don't think that's gonna be like the big thing, and I think it's gonna be Din's gonna be a little like haunted by it possibly.
Yeah, I think so. What do you think the reasoning would be for Din to go find Boba or help Boba? Do you think Boba would reach out to him, or do you think Din would be like,
He's
I
already
think
with him.
he would. I think Boba would reach out to Din.
Already
Already
with
yeah.
him?
He's not with. He's with him at the end of Mandalorian, but he's not
Boba
with them
pieces
when
out,
they take the
yeah.
throne. Right.
Yeah, Boba's out of
Right.
there.
Um,
I mean, Fennec is with them though,
yeah,
so Boba has to come back and pick
Maybe.
Fennec up.
I think maybe if anything, well, yeah, then they take the throne together. Din might be there with them when they like take the throne. You don't see that.
that'd be something.
He's just like off
He's
screen,
just
like,
like-
Jesus Christ, you just shot that guy.
He's just
He's
like
talking to
standing
the
in the
Beaumont
back, and
monks.
like Goal's like looking at his helmet, and he's just like with the Darksaber, and there,
Yeah, the
there goes
Bomar monks
Goal.
are like, "Ooh, would you like
So
to be in
Jamie-
a jar?"
Jamie thinks Din will be in the whole show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he'll be in maybe like 40% of the show. What do you
I
think?
think
Matt?
it's even less. I think it's like 10% of the
10%.
show. Yeah.
I think he'll be.
But
in
we
the-
all think he'll be in the show,
Yes.
I think
do
it's safe to
he's gonna
say
appear in the
that.
show. I think it's
and that will be a
safe
smooth transition to Mando season 3. Maybe they'll do another post-credit thing to tease that when that's going to release or something. I would
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Is there anything else, Book of Boba, we want to discuss before? This is your last chance to talk about it before the show comes out.
Boba. Last chance before it comes out. I don't know.
before it comes out, but then only one episode comes out next week. So then we can speculate on the
that.
next 6 episodes and the next 5
Yeah.
episodes. So it's not like it's our last chance to speculate here.
And
but-
HoloNet Marauders Live will be back. Can't wait.
Yeah.
It'll
Oh,
be fun.
yeah.
No pizza night getting in the way this time, Matt.
Nah. Check social
Well,
media for when we're
yeah.
gonna reschedule those. So
Yeah.
yeah, just yeah. Anything else to say about Book of Boba Fett? The pre-show
If
of Book of
not,
Boba Fett?
We can move on to the wheel, the great wheel.
Let's do the wheel. Let's
You wanna
wheel
do
it
the
up.
All right,
I also totally forgot I was wearing this shirt.
Haha,
so-
look at that.
Oh, that's cool.
Coincidence. Yeah, it's a cool one. Heroes and
Alright.
villains.
You ready?
Yes.
Spin.
Hope we get a good one.
The hell's overrated creature?
It's just for you, Matt.
No.
Overrated creature. I like
There's no
that.
such thing as an overrated creature.
Oh,
Favorite fight?
Favorite fight.
favorite fight.
Who wants to lead us off
You
here?
know mine. I'm gonna just say it right now. I don't care what you say. It's a fight. It's Battle Crate. Will always be my favorite fight between
Who says
Luke
it's not a fight?
Skywalker. People say it's not a fight because Luke wasn't really there.
It's
Have
a
we
battle.
said it's not a fight?
Lightsabers clashing.
It's a battle of wits.
It's battle wits. I agree. It's a fight. It's a standoff, a showdown between Luke and Kylo, and it is the single greatest fight in Star Wars, in my opinion. I cannot get enough of that, and I've already talked at length about it. So maybe I should pick another one so I can
So,
actually talk about it and not
It
bore
was
people.
just favorite fight. It wasn't favorite lightsaber duel or anything like
I
that.
guess.
Because
I
I
always
would
prefer
arguably say
lightsabers.
my favorite fight is Yoda and R2 with the
Oh,
flashlight.
yeah. The battle of the flashlight. That's a good one.
Gets me to laugh every time. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's great. I think that's my favorite one
mine.
because it's just like so silly because it's like that's like our introduction to Yoda in the OT and it's just like who is this guy? And R2 is just like, would you quit being dumb? I know exactly who you are. You need to give that back to me now. It's great. It's great.
What is that light even for? Barely lights up.
The best is like Yoda's like whoa, like look at it and like is like shining it in his eyes and Luke's
How do
just
you
like
get so big eating food of this kind?
Do you think that was like a lightsaber joke in a way? That was the original Poe with the flashlight lightsaber joke.
I guess so.
maybe yeah.
I could see that.
a
This
little
guy's
bit.
been wielding a lightsaber for so long, and now he's fighting
And
a
now he's like,
flashlight.
ooh,
sees one and
Ooh,
he's like
flashlight.
woo.
flashlight.
I haven't seen one of these in 30
My
years.
favorite fight. I don't know. I know this is another favorite of Matt's, and maybe he'll pick it, but Ahsoka v. Vader.
Yes,
Malachor.
That was the one I was gonna say.
So you picked that one. I'll go with, I don't know, the one that got me all like hot under the collar in the theater was the Kylo and Rey against the guards. I mean, I was like sweating. I was like, wow, I was blown away, and I know I love that.
It's because it was
Really
fire.
good.
It was hot.
Because
It was fire.
literally on fire.
I was in a 4D theater where the heat was coming off the screen.
Yeah.
So. But Matt, talk about
Ahsoka versus Vader. Unfreaking believable. And the fact that Rebels gives us that, I mean, that's why Rebels is my favorite Star Wars show. And will always be, I think. 2 of my favorite 3 Star Wars moments are in Rebels. The battle between Ahsoka and Vader, and the battle between Maul and Obi-Wan. Just unbelievable battles. But the emotion in the Ahsoka versus Vader battle, first of all, when she first shows up and she like taunts him, and he's like, and he taunts her back, and they start like battling because she's trying to protect Ezra and Kanan, and then she slashes the helmet, and then it's Anakin. Like it hits her, like right there. Like she knows it's Anakin, but it's the same kind of disconnect that everybody, including me, I feel a disconnect between Vader and Anakin most of the time. Even in Return of the Jedi, when they unmask Vader and it's Sebastian Shaw and not, you know, anybody that we recognize as Anakin Skywalker. I mean, that's still an incredibly powerful moment. But to have the exact character model of Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars under that mask, even though it doesn't make any sense, and he has eyebrows, but whatever, I don't care.
You know what we didn't talk about?
What didn't we talk?
No, it's okay. I'll
his eyebrows. Yeah, Boba's eyebrows. We gotta talk about that later. But just to have that connection between Vader and Anakin, it's honestly, that is the moment for me where I think that's like the biggest connect between Anakin and Vader in the entire series, is when he's got the mask and it's broken and he's ready to kill Ahsoka.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And that's like so heartbreaking. And it's like, oh, then you'll die. Here I go.
What really does it is obviously the broken mask and the
voice is mixed.
The voice, the Matt Lanter voice, yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's like garbled enough.
And you know, you realize that she's been feeling this kind of guilt about abandoning Anakin, like feeling like if she hadn't left the Order, Anakin wouldn't have turned evil, you know. And it's like, I won't leave you. Like I said, I mean, that whole entire scene is just phenomenal, and it's all happening on Malachor while this giant ancient Sith super weapon is breaking down. And it's like, geez, Louise,
it's epic.
And Kanan's blinded, and
Vader rides down standing on his TIE fighter.
Yeah,
on his TIE Advance.
So extra.
And, there's just so much going on. That's Twilight of the Apprentice. Twilight of the Apprentice is
unbelievable.
The best.
Yeah.
Like just peak Star Wars. I'm sorry, it's peak Star Wars.
Yeah, no, it's up there. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think to go back to another fight that I always think of is after Qui-Gon's dead and the red shield drops and Obi-Wan flies out kind of in anger. He was angry.
Yeah.
And just that immediate, what is it, like 1 minute or something of dueling, it's just unreal. That's the choreography there is just brilliant. It's so
it's
fast.
Just like hit. Oh my god,
so much
it's
passion.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's the point.
So that's definitely up there.
While Qui-Gon is just on the ground.
Please. Poor Qui-Gon.
Like in the game when he repeats the same death grunt over and over and over again.
Until you go over to him.
Until you walk over to him and you're like, hey, Qui-Gon, you good?
But yeah, those are some good fights.
Favorite fights. I love you guys picked like serious ones and like
And you picked the best one. Anyway,
I did pick the best one. Best one. Anyway, so we didn't really mention it, but Boba's eyebrows are back.
Yep.
So that's what I'm looking most forward to.
It's no spice dream. Those are
that
back.
He's healed. Like his face is healing. He
looks good.
I didn't really like his like, you know,
not healed.
Yeah, his not healed look. I thought that was going to be complicated, and I thought, like, I want to see Tem. I want to see Tamira Morrison looking like, you know, Jango Fett, but like as Boba Fett. He's
looking like he should. Yeah,
there you go.
I'm excited, and it'll be great. And eyebrows.
And eyebrows. I think that's a good way to...
Anyway, and eyebrows. Cut it. Cool. Thank you so much for listening to the HoloNet Marauders podcast, and thank you so much for watching as well. We're really looking forward to Book of Boba Fett. As we mentioned during the show, our HMLs, HoloNet Marauders Live, will be back as well. It'll be on Thursday evenings, so stay tuned to our social media for the time and the links for that. And yeah, thanks so much for listening and watching, and we'll be back soon. Have fun watching the Book of Boba Fett.